Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very important segment. Hit subscribe right now to my super chat. I cannot thank you enough. If you want to talk about any issue on this live stream, please do. If you would like via super chat, I can't do this without your support and super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I have about 7-8 articles that you can use to refute any claim that Trump committed crimes at Mar-a-Lago. The Justice Department and Merrick Garland have, and they've already reviewed every single one of those pages that they obtained at Mar-a-Lago. They have not indicted Trump. They could have indicted him for removing the data, not even focusing on the classification issue. They did not do so even for the removal, because he was a former president with the legal authority to declassify anything and classify anything. He had the highest level security clearance. He was never made to sign in or sign out in terms of the handling of classified data. He never went through a course or a briefing that said, look, you have to handle this classified data a certain way, and if you don't, you're going to be you're going to commit a felony. He didn't do any of those things. Clinton did. Clinton, as a Secretary of State, signed those forms. But here, within the next 3-4 minutes, I will give you everything you need to know to prove to you that essentially the DOJ and Merrick Garland have already cleared President Trump. Now, that's not to say that they indict an innocent man next year because Mashed Potato Brains Joe will be impeached. So We'll go through that, but they're not going to touch him for the time being because he did not commit a crime. And I will prove that this live stream. Check out the segment prior to this one. I prove it within all these articles are in the segment prior to this one. So all the articles that you see here are cited within the description section of this segment right here. Okay, this segment right here, Trump cleared of all crimes by DOJ after mentally and verbally declassifying every document. Now, the mentally part is tied to the verbally declassifying. He could have whispered it and it was declassified. If he gave it to somebody, it was immediately declassified. Now, that is within these articles, within Politico, within ABC News, and we'll get to that. He had the highest level security clearance. As President of the United States of America, the Supreme Court gave him the ultimate authority to classify and declassify anything it will. So check out this segment. Also, please go ahead and check out the shorts on this channel. There's one where James Comey explains that Trump was cleared, and he uses his own words. He says no reasonable prosecutor would indict, even though Clinton broke certain laws. And so I use his own words. It's me and the Honorable Director Comey in one of the shorts. And it is also, there's also one where I press 110-pound dumbbell press, so please go ahead and watch that segment also. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article from May 16, 2017. Okay? It's an ABC News article. Trump has legal authority to declassify intelligence. Case closed. They can't get him at Mar-a-Lago or anything. The man has not committed a crime. He didn't commit a crime. He's a former president. He did not commit a crime, okay? So you're not going to get him on anything to do with Larry, hello. Hello, everyone. Eric, hello. Kristen, hello. Daniel, hello. Jane, hello. You're not going to get Trump because he was a former president who had the power and to declassify anything he wanted, and the National Archives doesn't even have an enforcement mechanism. He wasn't a Secretary of State funneling and siphoning classified data outside the U.S. government onto secret private servers. Nobody even knows how that was possible. Everybody knows that Trump put these boxes in a truck, just like every president does. So here, Executive Order 13526, as President, Trump has the legal power to declassify information. He also has the authority to share information with whomever he wants, including foreign adversaries. At the White House today, Trump's national security advisor, H.R. McMaster, defended disclosure and said it was wholly appropriate for the president to share whatever information he thinks is necessary to advance the security of the American people. Sorry, he defeated Clinton, and there you go. He was president of the United States of America. Trump was protected under an executive order that was signed by President Obama in 2009, establishing a uniform system for classifying, safeguarding, and declassifying national security information. The order allows the president to determine the system of designating classified information, and he is the ultimate authority over U.S. intelligence agencies, which gather and classify the information. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Case closed. End of story. You're not going to indict Trump, or you're not going to convict Trump. They can possibly try to indict Trump, but you're not going to convict him because even President Obama signed an executive order stating that he has every right to declassify whatever he wants to. Okay? The walls are not closing in anymore. This is the equivalent. This is the classified data equivalent of the January committee, which was the equivalent of the Mueller probe, which was the equivalent of Stormy, which was the equivalent of every failed attempt at getting this man. Okay? This is a great article. And here we have the Supreme Court confirmed as much in a 1988 ruling, Department of Navy versus Egan. The president's authority to classify and control access to information bearing on national security flows primarily from his constitutional investment of power in the president and exists quite apart from any explicit congressional grant. There you go. And then the intelligence community has been left spinning in the revelation Trump allegedly disclosed classified information. Do you want to know the article that says he disclosed classified information? Let's read it. Let's read that article. Trump revealed highly classified information to foreign minister. Dun dun dun! Dun dun dun! Oh my God! Oh my God, he did? How do we know? President Trump revealed classified information to the foreign minister of an adversary and ambassador in the White House. According to, what was that? Where's the evidence? Oh, there is no evidence. It's according to current and former U.S. officials. According to current and former U.S. officials. According to current and former U.S. officials. It's right there. According to current and former U.S. officials. Not one shred of evidence. Officials said all throughout this article. Officials said, current and former U.S. officials. What do current and former U.S. officials say about Hunter's emails? Or Clinton's deleted emails? Or Joe and pay-to-play schemes and bribery and graft regarding Hunter's emails? What do current and former U.S. officials say about that? Oh, that's right. They don't say anything. Because you're not going to find current and former U.S. officials saying anything detrimental to Democrats. Because current and former U.S. officials are oftentimes, almost certainly, Democratic operatives who are used as sources. And that's called journalism. PolitiFact, the minute the president speaks about it to someone, he has the ability to declassify anything he wants. Without any process. Without any process. Say it ain't so. Oops, mostly true. Even PolitiFact that exists, these fact-checking organizations exist to prop up the Democratic Party. They're like, yeah, it's true. Does the president have? Yes. The blockbuster article in the Washington Post. No, it's not. These people simply report gossip and hearsay from sources that claim to be in the know. There's no evidence. There's no evidence the man committed any crimes. Okay? There's no evidence because there's no precedent that they can look back on and say, well, this president was indicted for releasing classified information. They're going after him because they don't truly believe he was president. President Obama was caught on a hot mic with the adversaries that Democrats obsess over, saying, "Oh yeah, when I win, I'll be able to discuss more things with you. Okay? Kimberly, I know there's one, but I I wanted to do it early. I wanted to do the live stream early today. But I'm sure it's awesome. But this is an important segment, ladies and gentlemen, because you have to ask yourself, what is it that drives these people? They just all they do is they want to get Trump. But see, public record sources. So you have an ABC News article, you have a PolitiFact article. Okay. By the way, did I not tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the Dow would go way below 30,000? It is going to go way below 30,000. I told everyone this. Watch the playlist. We are now about 1,000 from 200,000 subs. I don't have bells and whistles on this channel, but I'm pretty good. I give pretty good analysis and even economic analysis. My thought process, a great many of my predictions, or at least an analysis on things, turn out to be quite accurate, far more than the prevailing mentality among the experts in media. Okay? I'm not going to say I'm an expert in anything, but I use basic logic and reasoning skills, and I have critical thinking skills. You don't have to be an expert to utilize basic logic and critical thinking skills. Okay? And it's like, if you just look, if in 2021, when I said, in October of 2021, and I wrote in the Federalist, read my article in the Federalist, and I said Democrats are hurtling us towards a stock market crash. And if you look, ladies and gentlemen, in September of 2021, in the segment when you click on this channel and you watch it, I predicted all of this. They tanked the U.S. economy. The experts, bureaucrats, wonderful, morally superior, highly educated among us, tanked the U.S. economy for a year and a half. It was an overreaction. It was a sinister, almost diabolical, apoplectic response to a serious issue. It was a sinister, apoplectic, diabolical response where lives were being used to justify indefensible policies and blatantly irrational and illogical policies, simply primarily, I should say, for political gain. Okay? And it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that it is not a coincidence. And if you're watching, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Janet. If you're watching the Trump rally, you could watch this also. You could put me on mute. Just watch this also. That's fine too. But if it's not a coincidence that everyone that ended economic activity because of what now experiences record highs in inflation. Okay? And it's only going to get worse. We are not, what they did cannot be, unfortunately, unraveled or reversed. Okay, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's impossible now. When you have a national debt that surpasses GDP, and you have record highs in household debt and credit card debt, and when Democrats and media and experts prevented people from working and earning a paycheck to pay their rent, to pay for health care, to pay for food, and when they said, well, we'll help you, we'll provide you, we'll save you from our own policies, that caused that opened up a Pandora's box of problems, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been telling, and if you watch this channel, you know how I obsess over things. And did I not tell you we are heading into an economic freefall? And I was one of the first people in all of YouTube to tell people this in September. Aaliyah, hello. I was one of the first people to tell you this in September of 2021. Was I not, ladies and gentlemen? And so I told you this, and this is why it's only going to get worse, but this is why. Here you have also Trump's secret papers and the myth of presidential security clearance. This is actually a Washington Post article. It's republished in Stars and Stripes. But here, Trump never signed a read-in or readout. Typically, when a person gets access to restricted information, they are read in, a process that includes signing documents at the outset. When they leave a job, they are read out. Okay, Trump did not do that. Okay? Unlike the vast majority of federal workers who access secret information, presidents are not made to sign paperwork on classified documents as part of their joining or leaving the government. Good luck trying to convict this man. Nico! Nico Hammer, thank you, Nico. Hi, H. You were right once again. God for people like you, like yourself, keep up the great work that you do. Thank you. Thank God for you. Thank God for you as well, Nico. Thank you so much. I can't do the work that I do without your support, Nico. Thank you so very much. To my viewers in Australia, thank you so much. Nico, thank you so very, very much. Yeah, I mean, Australia, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Western Europe, all these countries that we pride ourselves, Nico, in being so educated and intelligent, don't we? But at the end of the day, what do we do to ourselves and to our own people? And do we focus on economic growth for our future? Do we ensure that we have a foreign policy that doesn't promote military conflict and cataclysmic, God forbid, cataclysmic events with nukes, like what's in the news now? It's the opposite. Nico, thank you so very much. It's the opposite. Paul and Nico and Yvette and everyone in Australia watching this channel, thank you so much. It's unbelievable to me, the hubris, the arrogance of this is an expert. I never, Nico, everybody here, I never heard the word expert utilized in media as often as I have the past couple of years. It's a meaningless word now. If you are an expert in biology, let's say, or let's move away from that topic. If you're an expert in economics, and you think that, see, there are experts who write for Paul Krugman is an expert in terms of the economy, right? Or Robert Reich would be an expert. They would be viewed as experts, but they're the ones who have been cheerleaders for economic policy that led to 3/4 now of negative growth. How are you? They've redefined a recession, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you understand? It was always two consecutive quarters of negative growth until Democrats were in office. Then it's not negative growth anymore. Then it's a growth recession. It's a growth recession. These people live by euphemism, and George Orwell called euphemisms verbal refuse. So they live by verbal refuse. Or actually, if you're in a democratic city, actual refuse. But that's unfortunately not a joke. But, all right, of course it is a joke. Yeah, right. But anyway, we have a terrible economy, and all they can do is focus on Trump. And the reason they need to focus on Trump, and thank you again, Nico, and to my super chat, thank you. The reason they need to focus on Trump is because they do not have a track record of success. They don't have a good they don't have good economic policy. There's greater poverty. We had record low poverty under Trump. We had record highs in household median income. Even CNN stated that. And the only thing they have for Democrats is that little carrot. That little carrot. One day Trump will be indicted. Every day, morally superior liberal Democrats who are beautiful, wonderful people, highly educated, very educated, they wake up in the morning and they hear the following. They hear the following voice. This is the day the walls close in and Trump will be indicted and sent to prison for his various numerous crimes, and Democrats will continue to save the planet. And, even if there's a prolonged recession and a new Cold War with nuclear annihilation being a possibility now, although it wasn't really under Trump, you know what? At least Trump isn't tweeting, and things are much better now, even though there's poverty that's much higher than Trump, and everything's worse, and the economy stinks. Just one day he'll be indicted because of, there's so many crimes. There's so many crimes that we just don't know how to indict him. That's pretty much what they hear every day. They think that Trump is the embodiment of criminality because they've accused him of everything under the sun. But simply being accused by morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats doesn't mean you've committed a crime. This is also basic logic. If he was guilty of 1/100th of what he was accused of, he would have already been sent to prison. So that's the issue here. If he had actually committed 1/100th of what he was accused of, he would have already been sent to prison. Okay, the problem for Democrats is that he didn't do what he was accused of doing. Okay, he didn't do the things that he was accused of doing. Okay, none of those things. None of the things that he was accused of. None of those things could be. He was not convicted in a court of law of any of the criminal acts he was accused of. And now in journalism, they go back. I mean, you hear these, you read these authors, these journalists, and they're actually citing allegations that were already disproven, that were already proven to be false from years back. Oh, Michael Cohen, he accused Trump during a plea deal. It was a plea deal. It was a plea deal. Yeah, of course he's going to accuse Trump during a plea deal. Cohen actually committed crimes. Michael Cohen committed crimes. So, of course he's going to do so simply to gain favor. Okay, he was actually fighting and battling media when it came to the Steele dossier. Okay, the Steele dossier had Michael Cohen in Prague. Yet another lie being told by media. And not only did they not leave it, not only did they not refuse to admit that Michael Cohen wasn't in Prague, which is what the Steele dossier stated, along with a million other deceitful lies. Not only was he not, but he was actively trying to prove that he wasn't. Or no, he didn't have to prove much. It was like, there's no evidence I was, and furthermore, I wasn't. And I could prove, and he was like, trying to tell people he was at this location, and he had all the evidence. He was at this location, not the location that they accused him of. And still, you had, I think it was Vice, I'm not sure, but you had other, you had him basically not only actively trying to defend himself against media, but once he got caught for criminal acts, he was then Once he got caught for criminal acts, he then turned and said, oh, Trump committed all these crimes. So now he's being used as proof that Trump committed crimes. Then they're trying to get him. It's a civil case in New York because they couldn't find a crime. So this is also a like an admission of defeat. And so because they couldn't find a crime, they said, okay, well, we can't get you on a criminal suit. We get you on a civil suit for inflating the valuation of 23 properties in New York. The most expensive part of the country, the most expensive city in the United States of America and the world. One of the most expensive cities in the world. And they leveled a lawsuit where they don't even have the support of the lenders who lent him money. If indeed he was guilty, you would have all the banks, whether it's Deutsche Bank or anyone else, you'd have Deutsche Bank also suing Trump. But this is why almost certainly New York will lose in a court of law. He couldn't have inflated the valuation of his properties if the banks were okay with the valuations. You think these banks don't know what they're doing? They made money with Trump. Furthermore, you're looking at it's like trying to appraise the value of a precious stone. In many cases, it's in the eye of the beholder. If you're talking about a painting or a rare diamond, the difference between $15 million and $20 million, let's say, is not that egregious of a difference. I mean, you might be able to get a New York apartment building instead of $30 million. Trump might have said it's 37 or 42 million. So what are they accusing him of? So instead of 100, so they looked at all of his properties, and let's say there's a building in New York Trump owns that he told Deutsche Bank was 150 million, and the Attorney General in New York found that it was only 137.5 million. Is that what they're getting him on? Is that what they're getting him on? Because that's not really that's not a crime. That's called business. That's called real estate in New York. How do you mean they are so desperate to get him? They couldn't find a criminal act. So what they did is they said, "Oh, well, he inflated," and then at first they were saying he inflated his net worth to get loans. Then they couldn't do that because banks were more than willing to work with him. And so then what they did is they said, oh, well, he's inflating the property values. But you're talking about the most expensive real estate on the planet, along with Hong Kong and Dubai and a couple other places. Okay. And so you're talking about the most expensive real estate. So what do they do? These people get paid by tax dollars. They're not real estate moguls or real estate agents. They don't really know anything about real estate. They're not experts. Trump is actually, and if you want to talk about expert, he's an expert in real estate. So these people are now going after him, saying he inflated his holdings. Like, well, you'd have to prove that the banks he worked with were deceived, but he's not. They can't prove that. They can't prove that at all. So, but here, this is important. That's because unlike the vast majority of federal workers who access secret information, presidents are not made to sign paperwork on classified documents as part of their joining or leaving the government. So there you go. There you go. You're not going to get, they're not going to convict Trump for sure. Okay, now, do they indict an innocent man whom they know can't be convicted in a court of law because he's a president? He's protected by even President Obama's. And then you have Trump takes an interest in the Clinton sock drawer case. So this is MSNBC. It's really hilarious. there are other articles on this, and the rebuttal here. So Clinton, oh, leave me out of this. Leave my socks out of this. Leave my sock drawer out of this. In addition to Hillary siphoning, and I want a Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump 2024, but in addition to Hillary siphoning classified data outside the U.S. government, you have MSNBC hiding in plain sight, but it's not clearly that simple. NBC News report added, unmentioned by Trump's defenders who began raising the issue of the sock drawer case, is that Jackson's ruling explicitly states that the Presidential Records Act distinguishes presidential records from personal records defined as documents that are purely private or non-public character. Okay, Bill Clinton had secret and classified and top secret data on tapes that he deemed personal. Just like Hillary had 30,000 personal emails, we have no clue. You can't if you're a Democrat, apparently, you could simply say, well, these are personal. You have no right to them, and you have no clue if they're actually classified or top secret, or even if they are, if they're in a sock drawer. I guess that's okay. But in Mar-a-Lago, oh my God! So nobody is going to actually infiltrate the sock drawer, the Fort Knox of socks. And so he had classified data in a sock next to his underwear, and that's okay. But God forbid the FBI goes, actually sees where all these boxes are located. He's a former president, and this ruling basically stated that Bill Clinton could actually take classified data if he just said it was personal, that's exactly. He was writing a book, and he had a whole bunch of tapes with all this classified information on the tapes. He was talking about top secret and classified data on those tapes. Okay. And the hilarious thing is that, well, the judge said, you know what? It's actually his personal records. But there's nothing personal about, if you want to say that a president talking about top secret intelligence on audio tapes that were shoved inside and hidden within a drawer next to his underwear, you want to say that is personal, fine. Then every box at Mar-a-Lago is personal. What does he have to do? Transcribe everything onto tape and put it next to his underwear in a drawer? Would that be okay? Because I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. Like Democrats get away with everything; they hide in plain sight. And if he wasn't, you have to ask yourself, why didn't he get indicted? He, of course, was cleared. This is all for public relations purposes. They have every single document that Trump had at Mar-a-Lago. They found nothing. Zero, as always. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the title is absolutely accurate. He was cleared. And now it's just the usual special master, and then they're going to go, and then they're going to investigate. If he's not indicted, he's cleared. End of story. And they have every document that he has. They already know the legal statutes. This isn't rocket science. The DOJ can indict Trump tomorrow. If he committed a crime, they would have already known in August. Actually, they would have known 2 years ago. So thankfully, the title is 100% accurate. And they see when if you use basic logic, you know Merrick Garland has nothing. If you use critical thinking skills and basic logic, you know that A, they have all of his classified documents, top secret documents. They know that he removed the documents from the Oval Office. They also know he's a former president, protected by all the information within the articles I showed you, even President Obama's executive order. They know the legal statutes. They have lawyers 24 hours a day looking at the legal statutes, looking at the documents that Trump took. They could indict him tomorrow. They don't have the evidence. They don't have the evidence. So, they don't even have evidence that he signed a document. stating that he was briefed on classified data because presidents aren't briefed in the manner that Clinton and any federal worker was. They have nothing on him. The DOJ only has the storm clouds of potential indictment someplace, somewhere. We're just investigating. We have to investigate. There's nothing to investigate. What is there to investigate? They already have, like, this is not some kind of grandiose plot. They keep talking about investigation. We're going to investigate. We're going to investigate. They investigate Clinton and they investigate Hunter to cover up actual crimes. Because then they can say, well, we're investigating, and then find nothing. Okay? They investigate Trump because he didn't commit a crime, and they don't know. They desperately want to indict him, but they can't. So the specter of investigation, the never-ending 24/7 media coverage of him being investigated. We're investigating him. He's under investigation. In one day, the walls are closing in. They live for that. They live for that. The walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. So the DOJ and Merrick Garland essentially have nothing. They've essentially cleared Trump. The fact that they haven't indicted him already means they've cleared him. Okay? They're not, look, they live to find something criminal on. That's their lifeblood. Like, that's their souls, their spirits are tied to one day getting Trump in prison. The problem is, exactly, Startle Mouse, exactly. The problem is the man has lived pretty clean life. It's not difficult to live life without committing a crime. Okay? Most people live life and they don't commit crimes. Well, they don't commit major crimes. Okay? But the Clintons have routinely bended the law and either overtly broken the law or got people like James Comey to say, there were laws broken, but no reasonable prosecutor would indict. He's not going to get that treatment from any bureau director. So Trump isn't going to get that treatment. He's not going to get that benefit of the doubt. That ain't happening with Trump. So it's just simply not happening. He's not going to get the benefit of the doubt, and he's going to continue. They're going to investigate him because he didn't commit a crime. It's a very bizarre, Orwellian, sad state of affairs. Okay? They have two choices with Trump. They could leave him alone, in which case he just grows in popularity because we're in a recession, and, Parlock 480! People are ignorant and will let them destroy us. Yeah, that's true. A great many people will just allow it to happen by voting Democrat just because they don't like Trump. This is the thing. They think is the embodiment of criminality because all of media is saying the same thing. And the rebuttal is, well, they can't all be wrong. Like, yeah, they can all be. They're routinely wrong about everything from WMD to Clinton defeating Trump in a landslide to a whole bunch of things the past 2 years. They're routinely wrong. They were wrong on inflation. I was saying in 2021 we're going to have inflation. And you had Jerome Powell saying, inflation, it's just, temporary. It's not that big of a deal. So, the mentality that Democrats have is, well, all of media is promoting exactly what we believe, so it must be right. They don't realize that there's a difference between actual journalists and cheerleaders or political operatives or activists. So, I agree that the Republican and Democratic side the Trump Republican is different, although there might not be the cleanest, nicest people on Trump's Republican side at all times, but the traditional Republican, traditional Democrat, two sides of the same coin, very corrupt. It's the Trump Republican that wants to focus on economic growth and is anti-interventionist. And that's the main thing. See, what happened in Europe, for example, would never have happened under Trump. That country would never have been invaded. It would not have happened because Trump would have said, "Okay, just you agree not to join, you know what, and you agree not to invade." End of story. It wouldn't have happened. But see that they can't do that. They can't do that. They Democrats would rather have ruined and destroyed a country. They did it in Libya. They also sided with Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld and other countries, obviously. They would rather have destroyed a country just for a meaningless international relations principle. Well, that country should be able to join any alliance it wants. Like, well, you know what will happen. It's an unfortunate geopolitical reality. Look where they're located. And look at the consequences if you continue to go down this path. Of course, it's bad and wrong that they were invaded, but we knew that would happen. That's the issue. We knew that would happen. And Biden had numerous opportunities to prevent chaos, mayhem, a country being completely ruined. He didn't care. The Democrats, like, their foreign policy is diabolical. You talk about sinister, it really is sinister. It's a sinister foreign policy. They stand behind, they would not care about that country if it was not bordering the nation that invaded it, and if it wasn't bordering the Cold War adversary. Or the country that they blame for everything. DNC emails that showed Bernie Sanders was cheated. They would not in a million years care about that country. And like World War I, a system of alliances or an allegiance to alliance is that's bad. That's not good. You're talking about that organization was important 60 years ago, not today. Okay, the Berlin Wall fell. So we should have a different foreign policy than what we had 50, 60 years ago. But see, again, the way Democrats in this day and age are completely irrational when it comes to foreign policy and economic policy. They want to save the planet, and while at the same time, they're flooding the country full of strategic petroleum reserves. They want to protect democracy in this one country as they watch it being ruined before their very eyes. I mean, people like, how many lives were destroyed because of Democratic Party politics? And it's not even, nobody puts two and two together because the media doesn't say, oh, you could have changed the outcome. Media doesn't say, oh, you could have negotiated a peace deal. They just take it for granted that they would rather have chaos and mayhem and a country destroyed than peace deal. So, Jeff, speak! Love you, HA. I hope that these individuals get jail time for years of corruption. Stay safe. Crazy times we're living in. Yes, Jeff, thank you. Greatly appreciated, Jeff. Greatly appreciated. I think eventually, Jeff, thank you so much. I think eventually, Nico, Jeff, Parla, thank you all. I think eventually people will get indicted that are responsible for going after Trump, but it's going to take a couple of years at least. The Durham probe is going to have to continue for at least a couple more years. But you have Trump Republicans in the House, so you'll have endless investigations. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. I think that it's going to take time because it's not just the Democratic Party, it's the Republican Party. The Republican Party allowed all of this to take place. You have Republicans who would much rather lose than have Trump victorious. And the funny thing is, in many ways, Trump isn't a traditional Republican, but in terms of foreign policy, but a lot of the things that he tried to do and did were part of the Republican platform that they were too scared and frightened and cowardly to actually implement. So Trump did things that Republicans were talking about for years and years. But it was Trump. So they didn't want, the Mitt Romneys of the world are petrified of media. They don't want, a politician needs favorable media coverage. or I should say, a Democratic politician needs favor. The Republicans already know that they're not going to get the best media coverage, but they just don't want to get Trump's, like the Trump level of apoplectic, hysterical, negative coverage. Only Trump can actually like rebound from that. So here you have, they're like, oh, well, you know what? Trump thought about it. Oh my God. It's like, no, he can actually, why Donald Trump, this is Politico. Why Donald Trump's declassification claim might not be that outlandish. He can declassify verbally. It says that within this article. Jeff, thank you so very, very much. It says that within this article. As president, you're not bound by the same restrictions or guidelines or rules or protocol or laws as everyone else in the federal government. What they're trying to do is make Trump into just a federal employee. He's just a federal employee like anyone else. Meanwhile, Clinton had secret servers that nobody knows how. Nobody knows how they operated. Comey has never explained how they operated. The Honorable Director Comey. So, you have a situation where they don't have anything in terms. I mean, you look at this. This is. Did I not say, ladies and gentlemen, it would go below 30? Nasdaq tanked in the past 6 months over 3,000 points. The Nasdaq, and if you look, go 5 years, it'll probably get to. I mean, it'll probably get to like below 10,000 easily, probably around 9,000. The S&P 500 year to date down 23%, and it'll probably go down another 1,000 points. Okay, it'll probably get to where it was in 2020. I mean, we did this to ourselves because you had people. When we shut down the economy, we did this to ourselves. When we shut down the economy, we did this to ourselves. Thank you, Jane. Thank you. I appreciate you and your husband watching the channel. Thank you, Jane. But if you look, it's like it's only going to get worse, not going to get better. Where's the growth coming from? Do we have a save the planet economic boost? Because I thought that was like the big selling point of the Green New Deal. Oh, it's going to really help the economy. There are so many green jobs. Well, where are the green jobs? Where I thought we're supposed to have so much. This is the thing also, like, they don't care about being right. Democrats don't care about actually winning an argument or a debate or having a policy that works. They care about feeling moral. They want to feel morally superior. If they can feel morally superior, if they can say, oh, well, we're protecting the planet, it's a climate change emergency. As we go into a third quarter of negative growth, think about that for a second. Think about that. Think about how absurd that is. Think about the logic of obsessing about the planet when you could drive everyone could drive an electric vehicle tomorrow. It wouldn't make any difference at all. If anything, it would the electric grid around the country would cease to exist in the manner that it does. We couldn't. Electricity is derived from natural gas. You're still using fossil fuels. And then where do you put the solar panels? Where do you put the electric batteries that have cobalt, lithium, nickel, all of these precious metals that are mined by the indigenous people that AOC claims to love so much? See, it's like you're talking about actors. The Democratic Party is full of actors that really don't like. If you ask them, well, you have nickel and lithium and cobalt, and these metals are mined. Jane, thank you, Jane. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much, Jeff and Jane and Nico and everybody here. Jeff, they don't really want to answer. JDY, yes. They don't really want to answer why, like, what would, like, why is an electric vehicle more, how will that change or alter the weather, or like you have like, a terrible like, hurricane, and like, oh, you see, listen to our policies, our environmental policies. Like, what? You haven't proven anything. You haven't proven that your policies would prevent this hurricane. Oh, because of a lot of smart people believe so. Okay, but there are smart people that disagree. There are a lot of people who are very smart, very intelligent, very educated who disagree also. Oh, but those are bad people. Richard, hello. And so it's like you have a situation where um you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where they're not going to go after Trump. Sorry, they're not going to convict Trump of anything. They could possibly indict him. They could possibly indict him in 23, but then you're going to get impeachment. They will impeach mashed potato brains Joe. So, they will impeach Biden. That will happen. They will impeach Biden. So, Hubson Moore, hello. B. Williams, that is awesome. The interesting thing is that you still have millions of people who don't care that we're in a recession and who only care about Trump going to prison, which will never happen. It'll very likely, almost certainly never happen for Hillary Clinton either, but she did commit crimes. There's a difference. Trump didn't commit a crime. We know this because the entire system is leveled at him. They're desperate to indict him, and they're not, trying to cover up anything. If anything, they're trying to fabricate this elaborate scheme that one day they'll finally unravel, because Trump is so, like, he's so devious, and he's so devious and sinister that it's so difficult to pin a crime on him. With Clinton, even Comey's like, yeah, she broke laws, but yeah, we're not going to indict. It's like, oh, okay. Thanks for letting us know that some people are above the law. And I talk about that on the short on this channel. So definitely, like, watch the short on this channel. But October, we'll have 7 minutes more, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're gonna end this in about 7-8 minutes. But if you watch the short on this channel, you will see, and you will hear James Comey actually state, hey, some people are above the law. Some people are above the law. He basically says it. And it's his words. I'm not making it up. So to wrap this up, the DOJ already read every document they took. Merrick Garland and prosecutors already know any relevant laws that he might have broken or could have broken. They can't find a law that he actually broke. They can't find a law that Trump actually broke. They have all the evidence they need if he actually did commit a crime. They have not indicted him because they want an investigation to hover around Trump forever. They were going to try to investigate Trump even to right before people choose in 2024. And exactly, Edward. Exactly. Like, Clinton actually broke laws as Secretary of State and didn't have the power to declassify, didn't have the power to remove documents. didn't have the power to verbally declassify, and nobody gave Clinton the authority to utilize servers to funnel and siphon classified data outside the U.S. Nobody gave her that authority. Again, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. So, and I vote for Trump, obviously, but I want that. I think that would be amazing. But you look, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the segment prior to this one, I have all the articles listed. I have all the articles listed within the description section. Okay, and you can see all the articles listed, and they show you. They state categorically, as president, you have the full power to declassify. You can do so verbally. You don't have to go through hoops, or you don't have to go through an elaborate system to declassify anything. And the National Archives and Trump's lawyers were negotiating. The National Archives is run very likely by liberal Democrats. These are liberal Democrats, just like the people who are partisan within the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay, if the reverse were true, if they treated Democrats the way they treat Trump, you wouldn't hear the end of it. Already there was a judge that sided with Trump, and then they wrote endless hit pieces about this judge. So there goes respect and reverence for there goes the reverence for our democratic institutions. I mean, they always go after Trump with these like very vague, ambiguous, broad allegations. He's showing distrust of our democracy. And it's like, well, you don't trust our democracy when things don't go your way. Shane, hello. Did they ever, ladies and gentlemen, did they ever view Trump as legitimate even one day? Even one day. Did they view Trump as legitimate even one day during his presidency? Did they ever give him the respect? Did they ever, not even once, give him the respect? Even once. And their entire justification for setting him up and framing was, oh, he insulted people. It's like, okay. Biden has insulted every supporter of Trump, calling them a menace to democracy. Or whatever it is that he stated. You can look, you know, the Trump Republican has nothing to do with calling for chaos or mayhem. Like, that was Democrats after Dobbs. Democrats after Dobbs, like, were literally like, well, you know, it's okay. You know, people have to, you know, express their concern. It's like, it's like they you see what happened in North Dakota, that poor young man. That's why I say, like, it's getting worse, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend, do not, and I'm saying do not ever get into a debate with somebody you don't know, and especially don't get into a debate with somebody you do know. I thought all of this would be over, but see, they haven't, like, they will never stop obsessing over Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I'll have a couple of uploads tonight. I wanted to do a live stream earlier this evening. So, to my super chat, thank you. I cannot thank you enough, ladies and gentlemen. And be here tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. I'll have a very, very important upload. So be here on this channel tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. I should have a live stream also earlier in the evening, probably around 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow evening. And I can't thank you enough, everybody. Thank you. God bless. Have a safe, and wonderful weekend. Check out the uploads on this channel this evening, and I will see you all very soon. Be here tomorrow on this channel at around 9:30 a.m. Pacific. And please go ahead and watch the shorts, everyone. Thanks, everybody.